What's up, everyone? Thanks for watching another video on guns and stuff. My name is Connor, and what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to do part 2 of the which Milsurp do I shoot the best. So I have all of my Milsurp rifles out here. If you have not seen part 1 of this, it's the last video that I uploaded, so definitely go check that out if you're going to watch this one. Pretty much what I wanted to do is I wanted to shoot my military surplus rifles at 50 yards and 100 yards to see which one I shoot the best. So the first range day I did 50 yards, now I'm going to do 100 yards. Almost all of these rifles are the same. I have the M1917 Enfield, which is right here. I have a 1903 Springfield Mark I, which is right here. I have an M1 Garand, which is right here. We have the classic Type 99 Japanese Arisaka. And then we also have the French MAS 36, which in the 50-yard shooting, this is the rifle I shot the best with, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, I no longer have the 1903 A3, and I did not bring out the Brownell's Retro AR-15. But in place of those, I have a Japanese Type 38 Arisaka, and I also have the classic Mosin Nagant M9130. So we're going to go ahead and do, I think I'm going to do the 100-yard shooting first, and then we're going to come back to the 50 and do these two, just so these are, you know, doing the same exact shooting. But yeah, we're going to do the same thing we did the first time at 100 yards. I'm going to be shooting each of these rifles sitting down. I'm going to have a squeeze bag underneath the stock, and then I'm going to have just a regular breast that goes on the front, or under the front of the rifle. So I'm keeping that constant. I'm sitting down. I'm trying to be as, I guess, precise as I can be with these. Now, all of these rifles, the first time had an aperture, a rear aperture sight, like a ring, except the Mark I, which is this. So this one does not have a rear aperture, like a circle, so it's just kind of a V-notch. And then now that I have the Type 38, this also has a very wide V-notch. Don't know if that's going to help me or hurt me. But then the Mosin Nagant as well has just I guess kind of like a shelf with a little notch in the middle of it, so we will see how those do. So something I want you guys to keep in mind is some of these rifles are over 100 years old, so I'm not going for like super precise, accurate groups. These are battle rifles, these are fighting rifles, so just keep that in mind if the groups aren't like super tight. Of course, I'm not taking the blame away from myself. I understand that, you know, these are more mechanically accurate than I am. But yeah, keep in mind some of these barrels have probably been well used. Let's get over to the 100-yard range and start getting groups and see who the winner is. Okay, so unfortunately, it's too windy out here and I'm on gravel. I'm not able to put my phone through the spotting scope. So you're just going to watch me shoot, and then I'll go down, check the target, and measure it and everything. But the first rifle is the 1903 Mark I. Let's see how it goes. I was looking through the sights earlier, and this might be a little more difficult than I thought. Hopefully that wasn't that bad. Let's go find out. Okay, so here is my group with the 1903 Mark I at 100 yards, and it is just 3 inches. 3 inches this way and this way. It's almost exactly the same, I mean that way. So 3 inches at 100 versus 2.5 at 50, so it's not bad. So 3 inches at 100 with the Mark I. Let's move to the next one. Okay, so next up is the Type 99 Arisaka. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so there's the 100-yard group with the Type 99, and it was 4 3/4 inches at 100.
you guys can see how windy it is. I mean, this is all moving. My stand just fell down. Pretty windy out here today, but there it is. 4 3/4 at 100 with the Type 99. Let's do the M1 next. Okay, next up is the M1 Grand. Alright, so it was 3.5 inches at 100 yards with the M1. There's 2 rounds here from that 100-yard group. I'm sorry, yeah, 2 in there. So that's 100 versus 50. Here's on the full thing. So 3.5 inches at 100. Next is the Mosin 36. Okay, so next up is the Mosin 36. Much to my surprise, this rifle grouped the best out of all of them at 50. So let's see how it goes at 100. Might have pulled that one. Alright, let's go see what happened. Okay, so 2 5/8 inches at 100 yards with the Mosin 36. That's the 100-yard group. There's the 50. So from the 4 that I've shot so far, this one has shot the best. So the Mosin 36 is very surprising, I will say. The trigger is the worst. It's so bad, and the front sight is freaking ginormous, but there it is. Next up is one of my personal favorites, the 1917. Okay, now is the US model of 1917. Let's do it. Alright, so the top group is the 100-yard group with the 1917. That was 3 3/8 inches, so that group over doubled from the 50-yard group. I was really hoping that group would be better, but it is what it is. There's the 50-yard group. There's the 100. So I wish that would have been a little bit better, but it is what it is. Alright, so next up is the classic 9130 Mosin Nagant. I'll be honest, I haven't fired one of these rifles in about 6 years. This is the first time I'm shooting this one. This one is mine. I just picked it up. First time I'm shooting it. First time I'm shooting a Mosin in a long time. The ammo that I'm using, according to my research that I've done, is USSR 1940s manufacture. Light ball ammo is what it's called, I think. So this is a 148 grain projectile. Let's see how it goes. Felt good, but let's check it out. Whoa, that's not very good. Okay, so for this test I wouldn't do this, but I looked through my spotting scope and those shots are all over the place. So being that's the first time I've ever shot this, I'm going to go ahead and do it again just to get 5 more shots on target. But yeah, I'll show you the shots after. I'll just do a 10-shot group here. See what happens, because those shots are everywhere. Okay, so that is a 9-shot group with a Mosin at 100 yards. That is 10 and 5/16 inches. I'm not making that up. I almost didn't measure it. I was shooting good with the rest of the rifles, and then I fired this one and I thought something was wrong, so I took another. I was going to take a 5-shot group, but my target fell down again. I wasn't going to come and pick it up just for one more round, but yeah. 10 and 5/16 inches. I don't know, is that good for a Mosin? Is that like, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. All right, now we're gonna do the Type 38 Arasaka. This is the first time I've ever fired this rifle, so hopefully it works out for me. 100 yards. Let's see how this goes. This is such a soft shooting gun. I forgot how easy these are to shoot. Alright, hopefully that was better than the Mosin. Because the Mosin was pretty awful. Okay, Mosin Nagant at 50 yards. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so with the 9130 at 50 yards, that is my group. And that was 3 3/4 inches at 100. And it is extremely windy out here. So there's that. There's the whole target. We'll do the Type 38 at 50 and then we'll wrap up the video. Let's do it. Type 38 at 50 yards. See how it goes. Sweet. Okay, so final group of the day was with the Type 38. There's the 50-yard group. And that was 2 1/8, 50 yards. So now let's go talk about this and conclude the video.
Okay, so the whole idea of this video was to see which of my surplus rifles I shoot the best. And to answer that question, it is the Mosin 36. Very surprised by that. I was not expecting that to be shot the best. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, 100 yards, 50 yards, all the rifles. Now, the Brownell's A1 clone is not here, and the M1903 A3 is not here. So I kind of screwed that up. I should have brought those here first. But so at 100 yards, I forgot a notebook, so I had to write on a plate. So at 100 yards, the Mosin 36 was in first place at 2 5/8 inches, and then second place was the 1903 Mark I at 3 inches. Number 3 was the 1917 at 3 3/8 inches. Number 4 was the M1 at 3 1/2. Number 5 was the Type 38 at 3 5/8. Number 6 was the Type 99 at 4 3/4. And then number 7 was the Mosin Nagant at 10 inches and 5/16. So yeah, that one lost by a landslide. Sorry, Mosin fans, but I didn't shoot it very good. So here is the Mosin target. So this was the worst. So 50 yards. 50-yard group with this one was 3 3/4. 100 yards was 10 inches and some change. So that's the Mosin target there. So these so they don't fly all over the place, man. All right, and I'm kind of doing these in order of the 100 yards. So next up is the Type 99, which came in 6th place at 100 yards and 6th place at 50 yards as well. So there's the 100-yard group there. There's 50 yards, and that 100-yard group was 4 3/4. So that's the Type 99 Arasaka. Okay, now this is 5th place at 100 yards. 5th place at 100 yards was the Type 38, which is right here. So 50 yards right here, 50 yards. This came in 4th place at 50 yards. And at 50 yards, that's 2 1/8. 100 yards, that is, what did I say, 3 5/8. So there's the Type 38. Next up at 100 yards is the M1. So 50-yard group, which at 50 yards, this was in 3rd place. So that's my 50-yard group, and some of the 100 yards and the 50-yard groups hit in almost the same spot. So 3rd place at 50 yards, 4th place at 100 yards with 3 1/2 inches. So that is the M1. Third place at 100 yards is the 1917. And you can see how high this thing hit. So 3rd place, this was 3rd place at 100 yards at 3 3/8, right here. And then this was 2nd place at 50 yards with 1 9/16, which is right there. So there's the 1917. 2nd place at 100 yards was the 1903 Springfield, which made a huge jump up from 5th place at 50 yards up to 2nd place at 100 yards. So 50-yard group right there, 100-yard group right there. That is 3 inches at 100 yards and 2 1/2 inches at 50 yards. And then 1st place for both 50 yards and 100 yards, which surprised me a lot, actually, I will say. The winner, hands down, and I honestly did not expect this to be the winner. The winner is the French Moss 36. So 50 yards, that came in 1st place at 1 1/2 inches. And then 100 yards, it was 2 5/8 inches. So there's the groups. There are the results. Sorry, I did not bring the 1903 A3 out. I no longer have it. And the retro AR is Aaron's. Or it's not Aaron's, it's mine, but he's using it. So this is the winner, the Moss 36. This is the Milsurp of mine that I shoot the best. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed doing this one. I think it was pretty interesting to get these out here and see, which sights I like the best and what trigger I like the best. And I will say I'm absolutely surprised that the Moss 36 was the winner. There it is, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave us a thumbs up, comment down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.